What a game of football. Brentford take the lead. Liverpool fight back in magnificent style. Mo Salah reaches the 100 Premier League club in fantastic motion. But then twice in the game, Liverpool collapse, bottle and throw away their lead and give away the advantage twice. They had such an opportunity to capitalize on City beating Chelsea, Man United fumbling and bottling it and collapsing and looking awful against Villa. But Brentford came up trumps tonight in the Premier League and they walk away with a point, a well-earned point. What a game of football we just witnessed there, ladies and gentlemen. Brentford, absolute round of applause for that. 3 goals Liverpool conceded as well tonight. No one would have predicted that. Nobody predicted 3-3. And they were never beat. They kept on going. They kept on fighting. They kept on playing. And they thoroughly deserved it. Do me a big, big favor and smash that like button. Liverpool fans, I need to hear from you. Don't bottle it and don't be part of this show just because you didn't win tonight. What a title race we got. What a title race we have got. Nobody's infallible. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is going to go through this season without dropping points. And do you know what? Barring a few inches, Tony nearly got the winner at the end as well. What a Premier League season we are going to have. It's been an amazing weekend so far for upsets. It truly, truly has indeed. Let's go to some of your comments here. Sonny, come outside is what Dennis CFC has got to say. I knew the Liverpool fans would be, the Chelsea fans would be turning up for this one right here on the football terrace. I blame Mane for this game is what Faisal's got to say. Look, the game in itself is such an interesting one because it was fairly even. I do feel like a 3-3 was a fair result. 12 shots from Brentford to Liverpool 16 over the course of the game. So for me, an absolute fair result. No doubt about that in my mind. Fair result. Pound for pound, though, is so much stronger than them. To throw away the lead twice in that game for Liverpool Football Club, it is an embarrassing one tonight. It's a hard one to take on the chin to a newly promoted side. And remember, Janssen, I know it will say statistically, you'll read it, he hit the bar, but of course they went on to score from that. They had 2 or 3 other opportunities where they were nearly in as well. They're going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems this year. They should be very proud of themselves tonight, the West Londoners, for this result. According to the law of Sonny, Virgil van Dijk should be sentenced to 5 years in prison for that last-ditch tackle on Tony from behind. Nice tactics from Klopp. The Red Wolf says Liverpool is a joke, can't be a 10-man team and can't capitalize on a newly promoted team. Their fans are a joke. Slam Arsenal for beating Norwich and Burnley when they did the same, is what the Red Wolf has got to say here. Rivals coming out tonight on the football terrace. Brentford is Leeds with at least an attempt of defense, is what TB has got to say. Well, that's what impressed me the most with them tonight. I know Liverpool scored 3 goals. And you've got to remember, by the way, a massive congratulations to Mo Salah. We're going to talk about Mo Salah later on tonight. GOAT conversation coming up. And I had a Liverpool fan say to me earlier, why is he not already in the GOAT debate? You've got to accept him as your own greatest player before he becomes in terms of the GOAT conversation. But, Liverpool's goals tonight were very, very good. Liverpool had to be at their absolute pinpoint best creative-wise to score goals. And even then, the goalie was keeping them out. Curtis Jones' shot, massive deflection. It's a great strike, but a big deflection puts it in. But Brentford can defend at times as well. And Liverpool, one of the best attacks in the league. And they still held their own. Brentford played like a regular EPL team. Oh, my God. Listen, they were sensational tonight. Nothing at all can be taken away from them. Terry didn't expect Liverpool to drop points. Now that pen missed by Bruno is even worse now. Even every point matters at this stage of the season. You are right. Listen, as a Man United fan, I'm always going to be happy when Liverpool drop points, irrespective of who's it against. And the circumstances around it. It does make that defeat earlier today feel a little bit worse. At the same time, I know for a fact that Man United Football Club, Chelsea Football Club will all be sitting there tonight and just thinking, we got away, especially Chelsea. Chelsea have got away with one because, yes, City have caught them up, but they're only caught them up. And Liverpool were meant to take a 3-point advantage tonight, and they bottled it. They absolutely bottled it. Terry, are you telling me This vaulted Liverpool's defence gave up 3 goals to a newly promoted Brentford. You're having a laugh. What that? Well, that D is a joke. Especially the equaliser for the second goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, actually both goals, both the second and third goals for Brentford. Trent just caught under the ball, slacking. It's one of the things, like everybody says, defensively. And I don't really blame him. He's in his early 20s. He's just not quite there yet. He got caught out of position twice. Damaging for Liverpool tonight. Liverpool have the strongest defense. Laughing emoji. First decent team they played, and they conceded 3 goals. Hashtag come on, you Blues. Let's try and do some of your member comments here. 49-49 undefeated, playing football the Arsenal way. Arsenal fans and members getting ready for tomorrow's North London derby. Trash Liverpool. Laughing my arse off is what Lee's got to say. What else is going on? VVD is a joke, is what we're getting through here. Come on, Liverpool fans. Back your team. Don't be in hiding. Come Monday, Brighton could be... Brighton could be topped by Monday. Brighton could be topped by Monday. Go on, Graham Potter, a.k.a. Lee Gunner. Could be top. Imagine Brighton top. In for a weekend. It'd be amazing for a club their size. I know rivals will banter, but Brentford will cause problems for Chelsea, Man City, Man United, and any other top 10 club. Saying Liverpool bottled it seems insulting to Brentford's great performance. No, I think that's deflecting from Liverpool. Liverpool were one of the best clubs in the world. They led twice in the game and couldn't see it out. I'm giving them the same treatment I would give Man United in that situation, Chelsea in that situation. They bottled it. They had opportunities to get themselves at least 2 goals in front, and they missed them. Right at the end, the ball gets played across to Firmino, tap in, doesn't capitalize. When big clubs don't do that, pound for pound, you're better. Aston Villa are going to give most teams a hard game this year like they did last year. But Man United were still poor today in respect to that. Of course, Brentford deserve credit for their performance, but we cannot walk away. We cannot walk away from this and just say it's okay, Liverpool, to throw away a lead twice in a game just because Brentford played well. It can't work that way, my friend. I'm really sorry to say that. It can't work that way. Mo says, I smell City assault in the summit. I smell a City assault in the summit. They just scored the second best team in the league, and the path is now clear for them to run away with this title. As much as AWB is miles behind Trent going forward, Trent is miles behind AWB in terms of defending, is what YUFC has got to say. Liam Neville says, unreal game. Annoyed we didn't get the win. Understand why we brought Firmino on for Jones after going 3-2 up. We move. Chelsea still behind us. We've got another one here that says the fact that Chelsea have already taken on 4 of the big teams and Aston Villa still gives Chelsea the edge in the league as league title favourites. And I think that's a very, very fair point being made there. Chelsea have played a lot of the big boys so far. Man United have played none. I mean, City have played a fair few now as well. City have played Tottenham and Chelsea, so they've played a couple, I think. That's all they've played. Liverpool have, of course, played Chelsea. But, United have played nobody as of now, giving us a massive disadvantage, depending upon the results. Like, if you actually go and win those, if Man United actually do something weird and win those games, who knows how things are going to look? Who knows how things are going to look here? We're going to get the panel on very, very soon. Sonny's backstage. Hussam is backstage. Zayn is backstage, ready to come on. Brentford earned that point. Don't disrespect them. Mane needs to seriously up his game. Poor performance. My bro, if you've been listening to me, I have praised Brentford. They deserved it. Pound for pound, they were as good in large parts. But when you're Liverpool Football Club, and I'm going to quote Sonny here, Zayn here, Hussam here, man like James Redmond from the other day, best defense, best midfield, best attack, best manager. Whenever you take the lead twice, you are collapsing to throw it away. Every single time. Unless you're playing another team of equal quality, you're not. You're not, my friend. Expected a high-scoring game, to be honest, similar to the Leeds game last year. Horrible performance from Robbo, Fab, and Virgil van Dijk to an extent. Salah was wasteful. Why chip is what Rapstar's got to say. We're going to bring the panel on now to have their say with us. Do me a favor and smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be blunt here. Liverpool fans seem to disappear on this channel. Not the boys coming on. A lot of our viewers seem to disappear when they don't win. Do the channel a favor, though, here. We're here for you. We're here for the rivals as well. Smash that like button. Let's get it past 1,000 likes. Massive, not victory, but it feel like a victory. It will feel like a victory tonight for Brentford. Liverpool, dropping a clanger just like Man United and Chelsea today. Smash the like button. Panel on now. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, gentlemen. Disappointing night, of course, for Liverpool Football Club. You threw it away twice. Sonny, I need to come to you first, mate. Give me your thoughts on throwing the lead away twice tonight.
Well, just in case anyone who didn't get to catch the game or wondering why we lost today, it was because of the referee. I get it that we did not defend that great. We didn't even attack that great. But the reason we lost today is because of the referee. Simply because we needed a penalty and Salah would have scored the penalty. It is as simple as that. Jota goes in the box, gets absolutely clattered, and we don't get a penalty for it. For me, I do not care. We got excuses now. We got reasons why we were bad, reasons why we weren't as good as we usually are. But the main reason we lost tonight is because the bloody referee, I don't know what his name is, Still Outwell, something like that. I never want to see him referee a game for Liverpool or football in general. Again, that is why we lost tonight. It's as simple as that. The referee is at fault for our loss, or basically a loss, because a draw when we could go 3 points clear at the top of the league, and to get a draw, only 1 point clear, that is a loss. That's a loss for the biggest club in the country. That's a loss.
And you're blaming the referee for not giving a penalty. For me, mate, I look at it the other way. I feel like Liverpool last week, Liverpool fans were calling out Cristiano Ronaldo for diving. Jota dived for me. He might have had a touch on the shoulder. It went down easy. Hussein, are you blaming the ref? Is the referee the reason that Liverpool didn't win tonight?
No, I'm not blaming the referee. I'm absolutely fuming. I'm raging right now. Like, my legs are shaking. I'm that angry. I think the entire 11 did not perform well today. Virgil van Dijk included, everyone included. The entire team did not perform up to the standards. There are two players we need to start having a conversation about. And the first one is Sadio Mane. Because Sadio Mane right now, every time he gets the ball, it either slows us down or he makes the wrong decision or he does not finish. Sadio Mane, I don't care what anyone says, the way he's been performing for the last season and the start of the season as well is finished at the top level. Sadio Mane will never be 18-19 Mane ever again. It's not going to happen. Sadio Mane right now, every time he gets the ball on the counter-attack, it's getting slowed, or he's going to make the wrong decision, or he's going to miss the chance. That's what Sadio Mane does. The second one is Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson today was absolutely atrocious in the final third. Absolutely atrocious. And this is why I wanted Kostas Tsimikas to start today, because Tsimikas has been playing really well this season, and on form, he has actually played really well going forward. Going forward, he's actually been incredible. So this is why I wanted him to start today. Robertson, once again in the final third, absolutely atrocious. Robertson and Mane, both of them on that side, I think has had the worst games. Midfield today, lost control, defending atrocious from all four, I would say, all four. I think the Trent thing is just forced at this point because both centre-backs were at fault as well for all three goals. And, it's just Alisson's the only one I can't blame for any of the goals. But besides that, as a midfield, the forward three, the back four, everyone just lost control, too complacent and not good enough today. And this was 2 points dropped. I don't give a shit if Brentford is easy to beat, hard to beat. That has nothing to do with me. City today beat Chelsea. One of our title rivals has just dropped points. You go out there and you get the 3 points. I don't care if you do it in a boring fashion, an entertaining fashion. If you win that game 4-3, 3-2, I do not care. We were in the lead twice and we lost both leads, which is not good enough at all for a title winning team.
Mate, do you know what? I in terms of like bottling it or collapsing, like people don't like it when I use the word bottle. A lot of Liverpool fans on my Twitter feed are saying, give credit to Brentford. Listen, I credit Brentford's performance, but your Liverpool Football Club with a sensational team and manager, you lead twice. Like losing the lead once is fair enough, but losing it on 2 occasions is massive. Igal's joining us soon. Zain, I want your take. We have 2 different opinions here. One, Mane's performance, Robbo's performance, the defense's performance. You've got Sonny here blaming the referee. What are you saying, Zain? What went wrong tonight? Why couldn't you hold on to this lead against a newly promoted Brentford?
All right, first of all, Sonny is delusional. Stop, you're chatting like a loser. Stop blaming, we should have got penalty. Shut up. Shut up. No, shut up. It's my time to talk, bro. Put the guy on mute, bro. My man's chatting nonsense, bro. Stop crying about, he got penalty. I agree 100% with Hussam. Mane, I've been saying it for time. Everyone keeps saying I've got Mane agenda. I expect an output out my front three. Assist or goals. That brother ain't been doing nothing for time. He's like Samson, lost his hair. He ain't got no power. He's done right here. Another person I've got to blame is Firmino. That's another brother. He's been not performing for 2 years, bro. Why is he coming on when Curtis Jones scores a goal. Why don't we just lock that shit down, man? Because we bottled it today. We absolutely bottled it. And I ain't going to be crying about the referee not giving us that. Shut up, man. That's loser chat.
No,
we have to earn our chances and I put them away. To get me, right? So what this deluded fool was saying, shut up, man. Anyway, we bottled it. We should have controlled that midfield. We didn't. We should have put someone in to help the control the midfield because clearly we weren't controlling the game. And they were just bodying us up front. I'm sorry, Tony was doing a number on both the centre backs, and they couldn't handle him, right? And basically, it was an embarrassing performance because we should have got the 3 points today because everyone dropped off. And those Chelsea fools about this 44 no safety nonsense. Shut up, man. Where was he today, bro? Firing blanks, bro, about safety. Shut up, man.
I hear you on that. I mean, Sonny, are you not going to look at your own club here and think, you let go of a lead twice? Where's the accountability go for that?
Well, first of all, I've been told to shut up about 6 times. Just wipe the spit off your mic and relax for a minute while I speak my point, yeah? Wipe the spit off your mic. I will criticize my club when it needs to be criticized, but it's as simple when it comes down to this. It's the referee's decision why we lost today. We get a penalty, Salah bags that penalty and we win the game. I get it, defending, we weren't there today. Van Dijk, I don't know why he got bullied in the air. He's one of the only players in the world who will never get bullied in the air, barring today. I can't tell you what went wrong with that. Defense was thinking about what they're doing when they get home. I don't know why our defense ain't up for it for today. What I can tell you is this will be a one-off moment.
Bro, you're sounding like Ollie here. Oh, we don't get no penalties because of my man. My manager was saying nothing, bro. Trust me, it went like the ball out. We had bare chances to put away. If Mane actually came up and did something today,
I didn't even mention our attack.
What are your thoughts on Mane? What are your thoughts on Mane?
We should not need the referee to beat Brentford.
We should.
That's not a team we need the referee to beat.
Exactly.
If we did a combined 11, not one Brentford player gets into our team. So let's not do this. It doesn't matter. Penalty, no penalty. We had enough chances. We created enough chances. And it's just the same people just messing around every week. And it's Mane once again. It's not an agenda. Last season, he missed as many chances as Timo Werner, Sadio Mane. I just think, look, with Liverpool fans, we're sentimental and, oh, he did this and he did that. Ferguson ruined our lives by not being sentimental, by selling the player when he was not good enough. Mane, I'm done with him. I am genuinely done with him. If they sell him, I'm completely happy. Sell him, get Saint Maximum, get Vlahovic, get whoever, get someone else. Let's try something new. This guy is done. This is his last season.
Exactly. Sonny, tell me about Mane. Tell me what did Mane do today?
Why are you expecting me to come on and say I love Mane? I'm going to criticize Mane when he's not good enough. I can't remember the last time he was good enough. I can't remember the last time he was good enough. I'm going to speak to you about the main issues, and there's a lot more main issues before we even get to Mane's name.
So, like, in terms of that, like, Sonny, you spent a lot of time so far going to the ref. I'm going to do some super chats first, then we're going to come back to that. So the first one here that I want to read out, I can't put them all on the screen. There's been so many comments that have come through. TB says, nothing to do with Liverpool. He says, not having Cristiano Ronaldo take your penalty is like having a Lamborghini in the garage all summer and waiting until the winter to break it out. Maybe, but Bruno's pretty good from the spot. Pac-Man says, Sonny is absolutely deluded. Classic Liverpool fan. Can never take responsibility. Always the victim. Never your fault. Alex CFC says, best defense in the league. Trent world class. Loads of laughing emojis. Liam Neville says, Sonny, stop you're embarrassing us. We only have to look at ourselves. Wasn't good enough today. Simple. Adrian here says, Chelsea lost but played 3 of the big 6. 1 point behind Liverpool. Have winnable games upcoming. Liverpool have, I think, United and City have, and City have very tough upcoming fixtures. Bottle Paul FC is what's been said there. The Red Wolf says Liverpool had multiple opportunities to win the game. To blame it on the ref is for not giving the penalty just makes you look foolish. I think you guys agree with it. I agree. Do you know what's nice as well, by the way? But Zayn and having Hussein on it tonight. This is what the football terrace is about. Of course, you can come on here and do what Sonny says and give excuses. I get a lot of shit from Liverpool fans when I say things like you collapsed tonight or you threw it away or you bottled it. I'm very proud that you guys have come on tonight and spoke as it is and said what actually went on. Because
no, but you can't say it as it is.
No, it is. No, it is.
There's
Sonny,
no facts about tonight's game.
Sonny. If any Big Six team, because no matter what you say about Arsenal and Tottenham, you actually value their squad. You're nearer towards £1 billion of valuation than you are $500,000 most of the time with our squads, right? When we play other Premier League teams, their squads are nowhere near that valuable. They spend nowhere near that amount of money. You lead twice when you're a Big Six team against the Brentfords. Even with respect, Villas and all these teams, you're bottling it when you're not winning. No matter how good their performance is, you're bottling it.
But not once have I said the ref was the only issue. Not once have I said the ref was the only issue. I said that's the main issue.
But it's not the main issue. I've got some more super chats here. Aaron says, blaming the ref is just... Aaron LFC is his name. He says, blaming the ref is just weak. Our poor defending was why we didn't win. Only embarrassing take, my friend. We should have got the 3 points at all costs. Bobby says, is this Sonny kid just an actor for clout? That's what you've been accused of, being an actor for clout. Alex says, Sonny, shut up. I would say take the feedback here. I think
at least spell my name right and then tell me to shut up. Send another super chat and put an O in there, and then we'll discuss.
Matip and Henderson threw Trent to the wolves with their work in defense today. How is anyone supposed to cover a 3 versus 1 situation? Got left out to dry is what Aaron's got to say there. We have super chat from Blaze, and then we're going to add a gal to the mix here. Sonny thinks Chelsea will fail and have no chance to win the Prem, yet he thinks Liverpool loss is a one-time thing. Pure stupidity is what.
First of all, it wasn't even a loss.
Well, you said it was like a loss.
It's like a loss, but ain't a loss.
Okay. Liverpool winning against City.
Oh, look at them.
That City side 100%. You guys really bottled it this time. This is going to cost you big time. I mean, look, I don't think it's going to cost them in terms of winning the league, but it was just a great opportunity to capitalize. Igal's now joining us to have his say as well. Igal, what do you want to say, buddy?
Honestly, I just want to say these things happen. These guys, Liverpool, you guys are a great team, but guess what? Brentford, today you guys were a little bit complacent. You always thought that extra goal was going to come. You always thought you're going to finish them off. And you know what? They kept scoring these scrappy goals. And I don't want to hear about people talking about when Arsenal lost to Brentford. All I heard was Ivan Toney dealt with our center backs like we were toys. Today, Brentford went to Van Dijk and he lost. I'm going to repeat this again. He lost 5 out of his 11 aerial duels today. He absolutely got dominated in the air at certain points. And one of the last goal, he had the chance to clear the header, which ended up going in. So when it comes to these guys, Brentford, you got to give them credit. As much as I'm going to blast Liverpool for losing, I'm going to give Brentford credit and be like, you know what? They've come up from the championship and they've done similar to what Sheffield United did the year before. They're going to be a tough game for everyone. Now let me get on to Liverpool. You guys are not the same team that used to be 2 years ago. Teams don't fear you the same way. A lot of your players are disjointed. And the second half, when Roberto Firmino came on, you started to look a little bit better, in my opinion. But at the same time, you do have a major flaw in your squad. You think this is the same team from 2 years ago. The players have aged. The teams don't fear you the same way, and Klopp is starting to get found out. Everyone knows that if Liverpool come late in the game, they're going to do the same thing consistently. Try to either get it out wide, cross it in, and all you need to do is set up a low blank and a low block, and you're not going to get no one in behind. So if you guys need to find a new direction, a new style of play, or something to tweak your system a little bit, because at this point, I feel like it's repetitive. Rinse, repeat, the same thing.
Just on that point of view, right? It's not the system as much. It's more certain dead players, bro. They're not. Then I want output. Yeah. If you're not in the top, Mane, get me a goal or an assist, brother. That's what I'm asking for you. I'm not asking for anything else. Just do your job, bro. If you're not doing your job, put in Origi, put in Minimano, put in another brother. But the problem with Klopp, he's a bit too low. He's got this kind of thing where, I've got to give this chance. Like Firmino, bro, we're winning 3-2. Why bring the brother on, man? Change your mind and say, you know what? Let's lock it down. So what I'm trying to say to you,
this is the issue.
Guys, one at a time here. Can I ask a question here? I want to put it back to Zayn and we'll spread it around. Is this more an FSG issue? Because I don't believe that Jurgen Klopp is happy with the level of rotation and size of this squad. Is it the fact that you're owners of your club have just not invested in recycling this team? Because Hussein pulled on a really good point earlier. Fergie knew when to sell his best players. Fergie had a son Summers. When he sold Koncheskis and Ince as an example, when he let Ruud van Nistelrooy go as an example, those decisions were heavily criticised. But Man United went on to do very, very, very good things indeed after those points. Do you actually think that FSG being a little bit cheap is actually what may end up costing you? Because there is staleness out there. There are players like Mane, as you say, who are just not the same players of 2-3 years ago. Is it on your owners?
Now, do what I'll say on that, right? I'll say some of it could have been owners, but fundamentally, what the owners have done have let Marco Edwards and Klopp run the team because they're the experts. They're American. They don't really know too much about football, right? So, like with Man United, you had Ferguson and your commercial director back in the day, who was legendary, whatever. They run the show and they make the decisions, right? For some reason, Klopp's got this kind of loyalty to these players where basically, you know, he's prepared to give them more chances, and it's getting obvious. We could see it last year. We could see it the year before with Firmino. Certain players are done now, and we need a refresh to get in the quality because at the moment, Jota's come in. He's doing what he should be doing, right?
We've got Salah. Let me ask you something. So are you saying that this is on Klopp for being too loyal to the Mane?
Klopp and Edwards, a combination of both, because both of they look at the market, know what they want. Klopp still has a say because fundamentally, when Henderson won't get a contract, he stepped up and said something, and then bang, contracts like that where Wijnaldum didn't get one. So if people say Klopp is not got some part to blame, then they're chatting cap because he has a voice and respect to be able to say, right, I need these players.
Okay, Hussam, I mean, do you put this on? Is Jurgen Klopp accountable for this, in your opinion?
Yes, he is accountable. Listen, look at Klopp's career throughout his entire time. He likes tight squads. He likes small squads. The him liking a small squad thing gives positives and negatives. The positives is the players are willing to run through a brick wall for him. The negatives is too much loyalty. Every single manager on earth, Ferguson included, every manager in history has negatives to his game. The negative with Klopp is he's too loyal to certain players. That's the issue with Jurgen Klopp. With Pep, he overthinks big games. With player like with manager X, he has that problem. With Klopp, he likes small squads, and this is just how he operates throughout his entire career. It's the same with Dortmund. It's the same with Mainz. If he moves on from Liverpool to a different club, it's gonna be the same there. He likes having 14, 15 good players, and the rest are just gonna be youngsters, French players, whatever, who will come on, play Carabao Cup and etc. My problem is with the Liverpool fans. We have absolute idiots out there in our fan base who just keep posting depth charts and going like, oh, look, we have an incredible squad, and they'll have the same player.
When have I ever said we had an incredible squad? Saying,
and I'll go like,
show me evidence, bro.
It's not Sonny, it's someone else. But it's basically depth chart.
Oh, we lost.
Sonny, go on. Do you want to say something?
So, guys, you're back with us now. Look, I've got some super chats to do here. Zotta Stevens says, "Stop blaming Mane." Walsh. What I think you mean Salah. I think that's meant to be Salah. Salah missing a lot of chances today. I don't hear you say anything about him missing those chances. Also, goals came from Salah and Trent's side. I don't see you saying it's Salah's fault. Listen, bro, I'm going to say this now about Salah. I'm going to say this about Salah now as a Man United fan. This guy, right, when people talk about him missing chances, Mohamed Salah has got to 100 Premier League goals for Liverpool. 100 Premier League goals for Liverpool in 151 games. To put that into context of how quickly and how efficient Mo Salah has been, it took Thierry Henry 160 games. It took Aguero 147 games, and it took Alan Shearer 124 games. It took Harry Kane 138 games. Those other three were centre forwards. Mohamed Salah is an inside forward. So when people try and deflect from Mane's mistakes, by going back, Salah missed as well. Salah's efficiency and brilliance strips Mane's, in my opinion. It's a weak argument. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, but let me just do the super chat. Sonny says, Sonny, mate, I can't pronounce the name of that player. Sorry, I can't. I know who it is. I just can't read it out loud. Mbomo, there we go. It says, could easily have had a pen if he went down like Salah. That's also very, very true as well. Legitimately.
That's a part of a skill to go down like that. It's a skill.
So diving is a skill?
Yes, diving is a skill.
So, okay, cool. I mean, Liverpool fans last week were really attacking a certain Cristiano, but there we go. Is Sonny even old enough to have an opinion, is what Dougie has got to say. Here you go. Sonny, shut up, is what Alex has got to say, because he got your name right. He got your name right.
That's smart.
There we go. Someone here says, what's worse, Sonny? A 1-0 loss to Man City or 3-3 with Brentford?
3-3 with Brentford.
A 1-0 loss to Man City because I care about winning the league.
Okay.
What?
That makes no sense. You need the
point. Point, bro, for a draw, bro. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, hang on. Which way did I say it round? One way you get a point out of it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ah,
well, that's the Brentford one.
That makes sense.
The Brentford one, then, yeah. Figure that out.
Since Rodgers arrived in the Prem, Vardy has played 85 games and 52 goals. Salah, 87, 51. Rate this Hall of Famer Vardy. Vardy's brilliant. It also shows how good Salah is. He's a winger.
Salah's not really a winger, though.
Yeah, he is a winger. He's a winger.
Inside forward. He's an inside forward.
He's not even an inside forward.
Check his heat map. He's not okay. The way a winger is traditionally used to be played in comparison to now, it's very different. Salah is played as a striker at times, and he's also played as a winger at times. He's like a hybrid. He's not really just an out and out winger, like a Robert Pires or a Giggs.
Kind of is.
Just pouring another little glass.
He's not the way you guys play, the system you guys play. Salah is a lot more forward than Roberto Firmino. That's the striker. In that situation, Roberto Firmino is actually deeper than Salah.
But he's still, I
guess he plays on the wing by default, but he's not.
Igal. That's his position. Where he ends up, and there was once upon a time where Cristiano Ronaldo was also a right winger, and then he started scoring all these goals. It's because he adapted and was. This is the freedom that football players do have, though. It's like, do you know what? If Jack Grealish walks up to Pep and goes, "Look, Pep, I'm playing in these games, and I've realized in our shape, the way teams set up against us, I found this hole in this pocket where I can exploit and get in and score." Pep's going to let him move into that space, right? Go, okay, we'll try it and see if it works. In football, there is this creative freedom. So Mo Salah, yes, okay, maybe he drifts in more centrally at times. Maybe he doesn't hug the wing and sit as deep as wingers in the past. Why should he? His starting position is right wing or right inside forward.
No, but Terry.
No, but what?
Terry, we know based on systems, you can be starting in a position and you can be drifting in centrally. For example, Brazil back in the day, they used to have two cams playing as wingers, basically, and they'd have two strikers. Doesn't mean they're actually wingers.
That's what heat map's for. Check Salah's overall heat map at his time with Liverpool.
Check his goal today. Check his goal today.
You get what I'm saying? The position you start from might be your position, and that's based on what you guys are basing.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, let's bring this back because I like to get to points. Are you saying he's not? You're saying he's a centre forward? Then what are you calling him? I want to get to the point here.
I'm saying he's an inside forward who predominantly his starting position is on the wing, but he's not a winger. He's more of an inside forward and more of a centre forward than an actual winger.
Or is an inside forward even a position?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Or is it an excuse for a winger not being a winger?
No, the way football is developed, there's wingers, there's inside forwards, and in my opinion, then there's...
So you agree with Terry, because that's what Terry called him, an inside forward.
I did say he was an inside forward. I think what's interesting is, you've seen this a little bit with Bruno Fernandes recently, where people are now not calling him an attacking midfielder and they're calling him a second striker. I think we do that. I think a lot of people like to call Salah more of a centre forward because it dilutes.
We know why it is. We know why it is.
It makes more sense. It makes more sense for him to be at that position. I think Salah's fantastic. I genuinely
agree.
I think apart from maybe Harry Kane, you could argue he's probably the best forward in the league. I don't think there's really anybody else you can talk about.
I think he's the best player in the league, even with Cristiano Ronaldo there. Personally, because of his consistency in the league. Cristiano Ronaldo needs to come in. Ronaldo has a tough schedule coming up. If he can consistently perform throughout this tough schedule, and then even elevate his name more in the Premier League, then we'll talk about that. Cristiano Ronaldo is still a better player overall than Salah.
Yeah, look. I think
Salah right now consistency.
I think you take Cristiano Ronaldo out of the debate for a minute because he's been back for 4 games. Like in the last 5 years, I don't think there's been a better football player in the Premier League consistency-wise than Mohamed Salah. And I tweeted about it earlier after he got to his. You look at how quickly he's got to his 100 goals. Faster than Thierry Henry, okay? Only like 4 games more than Sergio Aguero. Only like 12, 11, 13 games more than Kane. And around 25 games more than Alan Shearer. But those guys were centre forwards. For him to do it from his position is absolutely impeccable, in my opinion. And Mo Salah is working towards entering that GOAT conversation in the Premier League because of the efficiency this man has. And I keep saying this about Thierry Henry. I think he's an amazing player, but I think we need to start looking at players and going, who can challenge that? Because, if Mo Salah adds adds more Premier League and Champions Leagues in terms of winning medals to his roster, if he keeps scoring these goals, if he keeps being this consistent, I'm not saying he will go down and be looked at as being better. But at the same time, I think to myself, why not enter him into that conversation? The geese is just inevitable. Now, some people will pulling him tonight and say, well, he missed that chance where he went for the chip. Yeah, okay, he could have scored another goal. But I look at players like Mohamed Salah and think, you've always got a hall pass. You've always got a get out of jail free card because you're the guy that's consistent the majority of the time. And it's like, I hate our people. By the way, always a fan of Mane. When Man United didn't get him, I was gutted. I really wanted him. But I hate the way Mane's fanboys always try and deflect onto Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been and always will be a better player for Liverpool than Mane. And Mane was good, very, very good. But Mohamed Salah, he's just that next level above. And it disappoints me the lack of credit and the lack of attention Mohamed Salah as an overall Premier League football player gets for his consistency. People talk about him being an ugly looking, I'm not talking physically ugly, like aesthetically. I'm talking the way he plays, the way he moves. I think he's brilliant. And the goal he scored tonight, it's probably only one or two players in, it's probably only about 4 or 5 players in the last 20 years that are capable of scoring that on a regular basis. And he scores those kind of goals all the time. Mohamed Salah is going to be a Premier League Hall of Famer. And I think by the time he retires from Liverpool, if he signs this new deal, he will be in that GOAT conversation. He's an absolute sensation.
Just on that, you know, Salah's got 2 Premier Leagues, one with Chelsea, one with Liverpool, right? He's got statistical because Stat Merchant down there lacks his stats, right? So it's a stat. He's got a Premier League medal with Chelsea as well. If he wins one more Premier League title, is he better than Henry then? Because plus he's got the Champions League as well. Is he better?
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to count that in favour of Salah because when you're talking about the GOAT conversation, you can't really use it. He wasn't influential in that title win. So you can't say, well, Omri and him both have 3 Premier Leagues.
On the stats, it says he's got 2
No, on
Premier League titles.
On the stats, it's cool. But
you're a stats merchant, bruv. So I'm asking you, bruv.
I'm a stats merchant, but I use stats to explain what I'm trying to say.
He may have 3 Premier Leagues.
I personally think Salah won't be in the Premier League for much longer, personally. I think Liverpool are going to be doing a rebuild, and Salah's going to be one of their big tools to sell to try to fund that rebuild because I don't think their club is going to get backed properly by their owner, similar to what we have, where FSG is probably going to try to cash in on Mo Salah because they've already wasted the opportunity to cash in on Mane, and Salah's their biggest cash tool, which they can get to reinvest in the squad. And if they do that, they actually might be in a better situation. So I don't think Salah's going to be even in this whole conversation because there's not many years left in the Premier League for him.
You don't agree, Hassim?
No, I don't agree. I think he stays. He definitely stays. And it's not just with what's happening at Liverpool. It's what's happening worldwide because Madrid and Barca aren't going to buy him. PSG aren't going to buy him. So Bayern don't really make that type of signing. So who else is he going to sign for? Because I know he won't sell to
he's going to go to PSG to replace he's going to go to PSG to replace Mbappe. When Mbappe leaves on a free summer.
Salah's got morals, man. He wants to stay in France.
He loves the club. He loves the club. He loves the fans. It's just the contract situation will get sorted. He will sign a new contract. Don't worry about it. He's signing a new contract. He's staying. And even if we enter a new rebuild phase, Salah will not be the tool to sell. Salah will be the guy to keep even for the next rebuilding phase. Because the way he's actually going, he could continue playing like this till he's 33,
unfortunately, you guys, Liverpool fans, need to get this through your heads. You guys have sold your best players in order to get to this level. You sold Coutinho, you sold Raheem Sterling, and you sold Suarez. You sell your best players. You guys are in a situation where you do not invest the same money as other clubs.
That's a different situation.
Yeah, one thing you mentioned, those players want to leave. We didn't sell them. We would have kept them. They wanted to move on. That's why we're forced to sell them. Right? So let's get the facts right there.
If PSG come knocking and he sees the opportunity to play with Messi and Neymar, and to be in that team, he's going to do it, especially if he's going to get 500 bags.
If he wants to play with Neymar and Messi, he can do that on the summer holidays if he likes. He can hit anyone up on his phone and say, do you want to go play football? He doesn't need to do that for PSG. And plus, he doesn't care about the money. We know Salah as a man. He earns enough. Look at his brand. He's not going PSG to look at the Eiffel Tower.
Listen, you didn't pay Gini Wijnaldum. What makes you think you're going to give 500k to Salah?
Because Salah, Gini Wijnaldum.
You're really making that comparison. That's like me saying you not paying Aubameyang is like you not paying Gabriel.
The discrepancy was only a small margin. Mo Salah's discrepancy is 300 bags.
Okay, so what? He deserves it. He completely deserves it. And he's going to get paid that. He's going to get paid that. Don't worry about it. He's staying.
You guys are delusional if you think your owners are going to give somebody 300 over what they're expecting to pay them.
You guys, right? You love talking about this whole Moneyball thing. You understand that in Moneyball, every player has a price. Okay, it's not. I understand. Like personally, if I was Liverpool's owners, would I sell Mo Salah? Of course I wouldn't. He's your best player for me personally. I think he's your best player. But FSG don't think the way that all of you think. They are businessmen, and every player has the exact same. Every player has a price.
This is the same.
If someone drops 70 mil for Jordan Henderson, they will take it. I understand there's an emotional attachment to it, but every player has a price.
No, bro, no one's going to drop 70, bro.
No, but my point is,
it's an example.
If you drop 70 on Jordan Henderson, they would take it because every player has a price, and they don't see Jordan Henderson having that amount of value considering his age, contract situation, etc., etc. So if the right money does come in for Mo Salah, it's not outrageous for you to sell. I just don't think. I personally wouldn't, but I don't think it's outrageous for a guy to say that you might. Personally.
Yeah, but David, just on that.
Sorry, guys. We've gone through this a lot. Sorry, I've got a super chat here I want to put out. It says Terry's ignoring us all. Salah is taking more shots than every other centre forward. I'm using previous fellas' example. Salah gets 3 chances, Vardy gets 1. Well, on that statistically here, I want to read this out. Per 90 minutes in the Premier League so far this season, Mohamed Salah is having 3.5 shots per game. Jamie Vardy 2.6. So he's not having 3 to 1. It's almost similar. However, Mohamed Salah's shooting accuracy is 71% versus 60. If we want to change that up and just look at it again if we just move it back to last season, we have a full season to kind of review and kind of take apart. So I went to the wrong year. Is that meant to be
a critic, a Salah? Is that meant to be like
just let me finish, mate. Just let me finish. If we go back to it last year as an example, again, Mohamed Salah, does shoot more than Vardy, 2.7 times per game last season versus 2.2. So again, you're right that he shoots more, but not on a ratio of 3 to 1. And that's what I always find when it comes to Mohamed Salah. What people end up doing is they find something. Oh, he shoots more than others. Yeah, but by how much? 0.5 per game, which means it takes him 2 games to have 1 more shot than Jamie Vardy. Like, that's not much. And
why is that a problem?
Exactly, it's not a problem. It's literally not a problem. It's beyond not a problem. It's the opposite of a problem. It's a good thing. Like, if you actually look at the top goal scorers in the world, they all take a lot of shots. Just randomly, goal scorers take shots. Dinesh says, evening, Terry and everyone. Mo Salah is on track to be in the top 10 of all-time Liverpool players. In my opinion, I'm stopping there. I already think he's in the top 10. I'm not going to talk of eras before I was alive. In my opinion, I already think he's there, but when Mohamed Salah retires from Liverpool, he is your greatest ever football player. 100%. Your greatest. And I understand how Scousers, as in actual born and bred Scousers especially, are always going to have this affinity to Gerrard. And when you've listened to James Redmond speak about this, he says he goes, he is me. It's from the streets I was from. I have an affinity, which Mohamed Salah's never going to have with the locals. No one does. Like, we all of you are the same. No matter what football team you support, if somebody from your streets where you were born and brought up goes on to do something massive, there is a different feeling towards. That's why I love David Beckham. He's from Leytonstone, where I'm from. Like, there's a feeling. He walked the streets as me, same hospitals, schools. There's a different feeling about it. But for me, taking the emotion out of it, Mohamed Salah is the best footballer I've ever seen play for Liverpool in my life. The consistency, the goals, the records, the medals. Those are the most important things for me. Killing it. Dinesh, thank you. Konate will solidify LFC's defense once he gels in, is what Miguel's got to say there. I want to go into these other super chats, so I'll try not to miss these as best I can. Was Lampard a midfielder or a second striker? Let me tell you this now. If Lampard played in this era, he would get called a second. They would call him a second striker. That's just football fans trying to play down someone's ability. Like, it just is. Teddy Sheringham was a second striker. Dennis Bergkamp was a second striker. That isn't what Bruno Fernandes does. But listen, that's another conversation for another day. I saw Keegan and Dalglish. Please be quiet. Yeah, I didn't know. And I also said Premier League era. They didn't play in the Premier League. So I'm very specific, Ari, because it's hard. I can't. When I talk about Man United best players, I've stopped debating that, putting Best and Law into the conversations. They're just different eras, different times. These men were playing with basically steel toe cap boots and balls that were do you know how much a football used to weigh back in the 60s when it was wet? Like there's no, mate.
It was like 3 times as heavy when it was wet compared to when it was dry.
There's footage that I saw once of a ball. It was a really wet day. I don't know what team it was. I can't remember now. The ball was crossed in, and a player heads it, and the ball's soaking wet. He headed it on the laces on the ball, split his head open. That's how football was. So you can't compare eras. So that's why I separate Premier League from prior. So there we go. In terms of tonight, though, guys, like, obviously, look, this doesn't stop Liverpool winning the damn Premier League. Nobody's going to be that hyper, but
it does because when you look at Chelsea's upcoming fixtures, it actually means Chelsea can now bridge the gap so much more. This was an opportunity for Liverpool to have a big gap on Chelsea, but if you look at Chelsea's upcoming fixtures, I'm not even trolling, guys. Just look at their fixtures. Their fixtures are so much easier than your fixtures and Manchester United's and Man City's. That Chelsea could have a big gap at the end of the upcoming weeks. Up until now, until week 14, they don't face any good teams. They face very mediocre teams.
You don't win the league and you don't lose the league in September. Not one team.
My point is, this was an opportunity for you to keep a larger gap between you and your competition. What you've done is you've dropped that down, and now it leaves a big gaping hole for Chelsea to continue their consistency and go on to win.
No, you're trying to shit.
They lost today.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone slow down. Hussein first. Go, mate.
How do you know we don't beat City next week? Because we could easily beat City next week, and then between us and the competition, there is 4 points. What if Chelsea drop points next week? We've watched the Premier League for so long. Igal, I know you've forgotten what it feels like to win the Premier League. It's been such a long time. But when no team ever loses the league in September, the league you might lose it in March, you might lose it in April, you might lose it then, but no one loses it now because we have actual factual evidence to prove that both Liverpool and City are capable of winning 16 to 17 games in a row. And even right now, people were like, oh, if City lose to Chelsea, they're out of the title race. I was like, no, because they can win 15 in a row. So that's the issue. So when you say, oh, we're going to be out of it, no, we're not. Because first of all, you can't guarantee Chelsea wins all their games. The second thing is, you can't guarantee Liverpool go even in a tougher run and don't win against these. We could easily beat City. We could easily beat United at Old Trafford. We did it last season. So what makes you so sure that, the gap is going to be large? Because what you're basically assuming, Liverpool lose those games and Chelsea win, which is not a given at all in the Premier League.
Terry, let me speak. Guys, give me a moment. This is going to be my closing monologue because I got to go in a second. But I'll say this. When I look at the fixtures for Liverpool, I'm looking at them right now. You got Manchester City coming up. After that, you got Watford, United, you got West Ham and Brighton. All those teams could pick up points against you. Where Chelsea, on the other hand, I look at their situation. They got Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, and Burnley. In my opinion, Chelsea have a better road to get a bigger gap against you guys. And currently, you needed this 3 points to keep that margin of difference. Today, they dropped points, you dropped points, and guess what it did? It brought things closer back together.
Can I
have
add
your
something
opportunity to step away from them? I think Chelsea have a much deeper squad than you. I think Chelsea have a better situation than you, and they have better fixtures than you. Based on that, today's draw is basically considered a loss, in my opinion, for you guys, based on the situation that you guys have put yourselves in. Liverpool now have a disadvantage. Advantage Chelsea, disadvantage Manchester United, advantage Chelsea. Man City got a point, but guess what? They still have a tougher schedule than Chelsea. Okay, and in my opinion, this was an advantage for Chelsea. And that's why I'm saying this could be the reason why you lose the league.
All right, Igal, like I said, as Husam said it, and I said it on the Friday Night Terrace when I was on there a few weeks ago, Man City and Liverpool have proved that they can go on 15, 16 unbeaten game runs, right? Chelsea have never done that, and I called that out on that show. Guess what? They flopped today. They didn't. They got to start from 1 again now, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, recently in the past 3, 4, 5 years, the team that can put together a string like 15, 16 unbeaten runs, Man United used to do it back in the day with Ferguson. Those other teams are more likely to win the league. So the disrespect you're giving Man City because they've proved it consistently. We've proved it consistently. Chelsea, what have they done so far? Under Tuchel, how did we beat them to third place then? If we were such a dead team last year? Because we went on a run. We went on a run. We got 8 wins from 10 games at the end of last season, and we still haven't been unbeaten. So you're considering that. Hold on. Let me talk because you've been talking enough shit, right?
No, I'm not talking.
No, I'm talking now, bruv. You need to shut up for a bit, right? Because basically, we're still on an unbeaten run. We have not lost a game yet, bruv. We have not lost the game yet.
Guys. I got a super chat here. It says, on Igal's logic, Man United be 5th when they got a player, Everton City, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs in the next 7 games.
Oh, Man United are screwed.
Well, listen, do you know what it is? What I would say to you is this. I understand where you're coming from, Igal. However, tonight's result in itself debunks your logic.
Yes.
How?
It does.
Because this is
Because Chelsea could draw against Brentford.
Because this is one of Liverpool's easy games that they should have been winning and they didn't win it.
But that makes my point even more, Terry. Based on the fact that they should have won this game.
No.
You missed they missed an opportunity.
But there is no foregone conclusions in the Prem.
Yeah.
To say that Chelsea are just going to win all the games against the easier teams, if Chelsea believe for a second, we're fine to lose to City because we're going to beat everybody else, they'll come unstuck. They may win all those games. Of course they may win them. You could be right. But what I would say to you is this. We did this, remember during the Euros when everyone's like, every prediction, I was sitting there angry on the prediction show. Why are we predicting all the obvious results? It never happens in football. Since football was born, the obvious results have never consistently happened. So tonight, yes, Liverpool failed to take advantage. They failed to take advantage over Man United and City losing, and they stopped them and they allowed City to basically catch them. So tonight in isolation is a bad night for Liverpool. But Chelsea's really easy run they've got on paper coming up. It's easy on paper, but you've got to win it. Like, my dad taught me this in football. I remember once Man United were like 2 points clear at the top, and we had 2 games in hand. And I'm like, Dad, we're going to win the league. 2 games in hand. He went, but you got to win those games in hand. Like, they're not guaranteed points. Now, we actually went on to win those games. But you never know. You lose those games in hand, and actually, it can become a mental block in the other direction. I hear your point, Igal, but you know football well enough to know. Listen, when you guys were in the mud under Mikel Arteta first time round during lockdown, and you guys had a semi-final against Man City, then a final against Chelsea, didn't everybody write you off in both those games?
Yes, but when it comes down to...
there's no but. They wrote you off.
We're not talking about
Manchester United. We are talking about that. We are talking about that.
Talking about
no, it's an example. You were written off in those games. Everybody said you were not winning. You're going to get slap up, especially by City in the semis, and you outplayed them and beat them. To turn around and say now that Chelsea win all those easy games and Liverpool are going to drop points in all those harder games.
Harry, you're misconstruing my point. You're misconstruing my point. My point is not solely on the fixtures. My point is on today's drop points made Liverpool's gap between Chelsea closer. And the fixtures that Chelsea have in comparison to Liverpool's fixtures make it easier for Chelsea to overtake them to win the league. That's my main point.
It does make it
but
easier.
you said Liverpool are out of the title race, which is wrong.
No,
it's
I'm saying
early.
Liverpool today Liverpool today could be out of the title race because of this, and I genuinely think they are out of the title race.
That's crazy. It's September. No one's out of the title race.
But guess what?
Who have Brentford? What? Let me just say one thing. Who have Brentford taken points off of? Liverpool and Arsenal. Who have Southampton taken points off of? Man City and Man United. You included in that easy run Southampton and Brentford. Brentford could easily draw against Chelsea. Southampton could easily draw against Chelsea as well. You're acting like those games are foregone conclusions, and because Liverpool have to play City we could easily beat City next week, and Chelsea lose against one of those easy games to win, and we end up having a 4-point advantage. So then your argument entirely collapses.
Egal, what your point is, like what you're trying to say is not all games in the league season are equal. So again, we lost to Man City today, but you can't. Not that you expect to lose to Man City, but losing to Man City is it's a decent possibility. However, drawing against Brentford is probably a team where you say this is a team where we should be getting 4 to 6 points, and especially when all your rivals lost today, this could have been a really good opportunity to put down a marker and say we're the best team right now. That's what Igal's trying to say. I don't think Liverpool are out of the title race. I don't think that. But you definitely missed an opportunity.
That's what
all rivals got points. That's me.
And that's what we said today.
Just to finalize up. Do you know what's really interesting about it? And Gal, I do get where you're coming from. I understand your logic. I just don't think it's sound in the sense of, I said about Ollie maybe like having a title charge or winning it because of Judge. This weekend is exactly what I'm talking about. We've messed up, but we haven't really lost any ground we haven't lost any ground because there's no one else that plays this weekend. Forget Brighton. That sounds horrible. Man United haven't really, like, if Chelsea would have won today and Liverpool win today, suddenly you see this little gap appearing. It's like, oh, wow. But theoretically, or mathematically speaking, forget what we saw, what we witnessed. It's not been that bad a weekend for Man United, and we just lost at home. That's why your logic, in reality, in theory, what you're saying is right. But in reality, we know what football's like. And the Prem, it doesn't matter how good you are as a team, anyone can beat you at any given moment. Like Liverpool basically made the top 4 because their goalie scored one of the best headers you'll see in the Prem. Like that's how fine the margins can be in this tournament. And I totally get your point. I think Liverpool damaged themselves this weekend. In terms of their title race, long way to go. And that's what's so exciting about it. Andrew here, by the way, he says, I'm a Chelsea fan. Salah is class. People give him stick because of his lack of stardust like Henry and others before him, which is rubbish. I actually saw someone tweet earlier. I think Bianca, big up Bianca. I have not spoke to B in a while. I hope you're good. I know you had some things going on. Basically, if Salah was as good looking as Ronaldo, he'd be the poster boy of the Prem. I do think, and I'm not trying to be offensive here, I do think if Mohamed Salah was a good looking man and not a very, very average looking man like us 5, then we are. By the way, us 5 are very average looking men in terms of looks.
Excuse me.
No, sorry, lads. No, I'm sorry, lads. We are. We're very.
No, I'm a strong 7. I'm a strong 7.
Do you know what we are? You know every boy band has the ugly one. We're like the 5th member of every boy band put together. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what we are, right? Honestly,
Terry, speak for yourself.
Sorry, egal. We are ugly men. But the point is, like, if Salah was better looking, that would help him. I always think that about Wayne Rooney, by the way. I always think about Wayne Rooney, and I always think if Wayne Rooney was as good looking as David Beckham, how much more rated would he have been or loved? Like, imagine someone as good as like Wayne Rooney looking like he does, being as famous as he did. That's a rarity. That's a rarity. But there we go. Listen,
I'm just gonna say this: you can't say nothing critical about Liverpool, or else they're gonna just say you're being deluded. Honestly, guys, I feel like today's loss. My point is, today's loss. You're gonna look back at it when you lose the title by like 2 points. You're gonna say these are the kind of games which you should have won. That's my.
You don't get the point. You just said Liverpool are out of the title race in September. That's the issue. You just said that's the first one. Terry was segueing. Let me just say one thing. Terry was segueing. He was like, today's result in isolation does not mean that Liverpool are out of the title race. And we were all quiet because he was doing the segue. And in the middle of it, you're like, oh, yes, they are. That was the problem. The problem is not you saying today is dropped points. Today is not good enough. The point is you saying in September 25th, the league is over for Liverpool, which is mad. That's the problem.
Yo, Hussam, in December, when you're saying you're so many points off, then you can't say that. But if you lose by a small margin, you can look back at these games.
Now, so relax.
Yeah, but do you know what, mate? That's the same. Like logic. Again, you're right, Igal. Like you are right. If you lose by 2 points, you could look at any game where you drop points and go, "That was the one." But like, we don't know what's going to happen. It's so. Do you get what I mean?
I love you guys.
What you're doing, Igal? No. Sorry, I know you got to go. But what you're doing is you're like pretending you're. Whenever in life, you can always go back and find your dots. Wherever you are right now in your lives, all you 4, everyone watching, whatever you're doing in your life, you can always work yourself backwards and go, oh, it was this moment or this meeting or this person I met or this phone call or this interview or this mistake that's led to where I am. It's very easy to do that in retrospect. Like, so yeah, you're right, Gal, because retrospect is going to be easy to go, if we hadn't dropped those points to Brentford would have won the league. But there'll be many more trials and tribulations between now and then. And it'll work in reverse. There'll be some games as well this season that Liverpool will win where we'll all be going, how the fuck have you done that? You didn't deserve it. Like there'll be...
tonight was one of them.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, like Tony, literally 2 inches, 2 or 3 inches in the other direction, you lose tonight. There'll be another game now in a few weeks where Liverpool are drawing. Someone has a shot and it's going wide and it hits someone's arse and goes in and it's the other way. So you might gain 2 points when you don't expect it. So I do hear you, Gal. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Great day. We are back tomorrow, North London Derby special. Make sure you're tuning in. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.